Hello, everyone. It's like such a crazy time this time with Hallmark because we've got The Way Home. I get to watch it on Friday and I can watch it again on Saturday. And then I have, When Calls the Heart on Sunday and then the movie on Saturday in between. And Sunday night is the one podcast. Monday night's another podcast. Tuesday night, not complaining. It's just breath of, I need a breath. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad that you're here. I see you're all popping in. I'm just going to put a hello in the comments. I know that Nikki, you are here. I did not have a minute to see what the hiccup is. Apparently, there are people that are here and they're commenting, but I can't see their comments. So I have to go and figure out, what's happening on my end, maybe with the streaming system while you're blocked or I can't see you. I'm not ignoring anyone on purpose. I have blocked certain people, but they usually have weird accounts and I don't know who they are, crazy names. And they've said some crazy bad stuff in the comments. So anyway, hello, everyone. Hello, Hearties. I see Cindy's here. Hi, Cindy and Curry and Lucy and Avis and Jennifer. And you're weighing in. You're weighing in on, a lot of you were saying that it was kind of overacted and a bit boring. Okay. Yeah. I'm just looking at everything. Hello, everyone. I still have a headache from Sunday night's episode. That's Lillian. Oh, goodness. Okay. All right. So while you're popping in, let's talk about some like housekeeping-y kind of things. Do not let me forget to do the contest with Andrea, like how many times her bump would had to be covered. It's like scene wise, okay? One is kind of like a long scene. We're going to keep that all together as one. So don't let me forget that because this is a, I know I don't want to be unprofessional. This is a tank top under here. So we're not looking at, undergarments, but I'm trying to fix that. Anyway, I also have a question that I want to ask. So that's a trivia question and you can win a prize. Last week, someone won the prize and I sent them it's a mug. Well, it's like double walled. It's glass. I remember sending them to Deb Johnson. I miss Deb. And she was so excited because when you put your drink in or whatever, the bottom is a heart and it kind of like shows up. So I'm not giving that out. I try to give them out, mix things up. But I do have a prize for whoever wins tonight. Oh, you're from San Diego. Anna Marie, are you okay out there with the smoke and stuff? I don't know if you remember, I've chatted with her before, but there's a writer. She writes for Hallmark. She does many other things. She lives out in Los Angeles. Her name is Anna White. I love her. She is a great person. And the other night I was thinking, oh my God, what about Anna? So I reached out to her and she said she was fine, but she had to leave the area and she was staying in Las Vegas with, I guess, friends, I think, because of the smoke and whatnot. And I was like, oh my goodness, I just can't imagine what's happening out there. I have family out there too. So, I know. Yes, I have one of those heart-shaped mugs from you. I know, Lillian. I try to give them out as much as possible, but I like to mix things up a little. Okay. All right. So let's say hello and let's just talk about, like I said, some housekeeping things. So, we get a press packet and I don't know where the mistake was. I feel like it might be just a typing error because I had said last night that when I looked at the press packet, it was the same team that did episode 1. And that could very well be because it's done in a block. So the person who wrote episode 1 was Beth or Elizabeth Stewart, and it was directed by Mike Rawl. So I saw that in the second episode in the packet, when I was reading through credits, it was Mike again and Elizabeth. But when you go to the, as Lillian and also Bryce caught, when you go to the credits coming out, it was Derek this time. So I'm pretty sure that what they would put across the screen would be less of a mistake than what they typed up. Everything else was the same. For those that are interested when it comes to like credit in the lineup, This time, of course, it's Erin. And then next in line was Pascal. Then it was Jack Wagner. Then it was Chris. And then it was Kevin. And then Kevin. And it went down all the way down. Andrea was listed this time. She was up there. So anyway, those are all the little whatevers. Let's talk about the trending and the hashtags. Holy Stromboli. So I have a little app that tracks, the trending and what's going on. And there were a lot of hashtags that were trending that had to do with When Calls the Heart. When Calls the Heart itself was trending. And the last time I checked, it was under 10,000. What else was trending? They had, I think it was Elizabeth and Nathan. That was like less than 2,000. It took a while for it to trend. It was like 1.5. I could be wrong. It might be a little bit higher. They also had trending Hearties. That was under 10, I think. What else was out there? Oh, Chris McNally and then the Lucas We Love. Holy Stromboli. It was, the last time I checked, it was something like 14, 15,000. I can look, but it was wild how many were out there. And they were all trending, but some of the numbers were like, whoa, people are just out there, helping this little show and their favorite characters. If it was Derek, I would not want to be associated with writing that episode. Oh, Lillian, I love Derek. And I have to tell you, Derek is a really good writer. There is this wonderful series that came out called The Small Town Murders. I think that's I watched it. It's very good. Has excellent acting in it. You know what? If anybody's interested, please remind me. And Derek is sort of like I think an EP or something in it. And I was like, Derek, look at you. It's really well written. And I always liked Derek's writing. And I always loved Elizabeth or Beth's writing. But I do know that there's, you write a scene, it comes back to whoever's in charge, things are rewritten. By the time you go to it be directed, things are changed around again. So we're going to talk about this scene. And I understand how some of you feel. I don't want to bash anybody. I'm surprised Derek wrote it. I thought that was a really badly written episode. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about if it really is the writing of the episode that was bad, or if it's a little bit more than that. Let's talk about that. If you are on here and you loved the writing of it, please don't be intimidated by the people who didn't, because I know Lillian. I know her personally. Okay. Lillian, I'm going to give out some news here. We had girls' night, a whole bunch of us, and she's been to my house and slept over. Okay. So I know Lillian, and you've known Lillian when she comes on. So there's no disrespect. It's just how you're feeling at the time. If you loved it, this is a safe space. We're not going to hurt you. Let us know you loved it. Brianna, hi. Let's put this up. Derek is dealing with a lot of people, so it can be hard to be a good writer when someone looking over your shoulder all the time. And Derek does have, remember I told you, Derek and it was Derek. He has like a co-executive producer kind of position up in the ranks. I talked about it the other night, as well as Beth does, and I think Peter DeLuise, and there was a fourth person. So they're wearing lots of hats. So who knows? We don't have an answer for this. And I don't want to be mean about it, but I understand where you're coming from. Wait a minute. She didn't have to sleep on the floor. That is not true, Lillian. I'm a better host than that. Mind you, people were sleeping on the couch, sleeping in the office, sleeping in the guest room. I had a puppy dog that was sleeping in a bed. So we had a lot going on, but I digress. All right, we're all here and let's keep on going. Poorly written and poorly acted. I just didn't flow from the scene to scene. Okay, let's dissect. Let's just table it for a minute and let's just dissect. All right. I think it should be a 2-hour show. There's so many characters and not enough time. Sonia, I think you hit the nail on the head. For me, it's that there's so many storylines and they're trying to it's become such an ensemble cast, and we all have our favorites. There's a Flomo team. Who's in love with the Canfields? Who wants more of the kiddos? We want more of everything, right? And you're right. You wish it were a 2-hour show, but nothing's a 2-hour show. Nothing. So maybe if we had more episodes, like instead of 12, we went to like 16. I don't know. I don't know what the answers are for this. But also we can't say less commercials because it's I believe it or not, it is really the same commercial time. But anyway, Cindy's saying, I thought parts were not badly written, but other parts were either over the top or weren't true to the character. Yes, and we're going to get into that. One of the other fan sites had several comments that they thought Lee was outstanding and Lucas deserved Lee's telling him off. They said it was about time. Okay, and we're going to talk all about that. Scenes were so short. Yes. More episodes. Yes, absolutely more episodes. It isn't even a 1-hour show. It's like 42 minutes, which is what the average show is like for all shows that are supposed to be 1 hour because of the commercials. Maybe 90 minutes. It's not happening, girl. It's not happening, Miriam. The only way I think something like that could happen is if it was a total streaming, made for streaming, no commercials would be involved, and they did give us 1 hour. That would be the only way it would work, okay? You never know what's coming down the road, but then right away somebody's going to say, Roxanne said, but I didn't say anything. I'm just saying how it could be. Let's get into this. All right. I first want to talk about the joy I had seeing the kids so involved in this episode. And I love the whole idea of how they were helping Henry with the hazelnuts and how they were cracking them and doing it to the music. I loved all of that. He put them to work. And one of the things that I think is great about this show, and it is something that they have done from the get-go and they've never lost this. And so kudos to them for this. They always place females in roles that were not, they were there. We just don't really know about them in history. We're starting to learn as a teacher. I see more and more things come up of females in history, what they were doing. They never fully got the credit for it. And I love that they have the girls. Do you notice this, that they always talk about the girls going off to college? The boys don't go off to college. Well, Robert did, and he stayed, and he's got, many jobs, and that's okay. You don't have to go off to college. But those girls are always making their way to college, which I think is pretty neat. And I love that Emily wanted to be a teacher, but girl, she's got that business mind. And Allie, she's still trying to figure out what she wants to do. Yet we could see how she's always been a good student and very smart. How she's talking about the dichotomous, the little formula where it's not a formula. It's like a graphic organizer where and I'm sure you know this from science, but if you were looking at a plant, you would say, is it broadleaf or is it, a cone, and yes or no, and then they keep on going, or yes, no, and then anyway, I don't need to get into science, but you know what I mean. And I think she might be into something that's sort of bio or something different. And then they introduce Edie, and Edie is like a lawyer, and she's also she also inherits a cattle ranch, and she's into ranching. And she said, yeah, I thought being a lawyer was hard. Ranching's hard because she's a female, which is kind of cool. They put them in these spots. Like we had a female mayor, which was Abigail. So I like that. I like that they do this and they're keeping with it. The kids watching them, they were adorable. They were funny. Their love for the comic books. Let's talk about the comic books. Actually, that's what my question is. How many of you are into comic books? I don't know. We call them graphic novels too for some of the kiddos. The comic book, I went and looked up what 1920s comic books look like, and they had that same coloring. I want to know, I'm putting that out there because I feel like this is a sense of humor that Peter DeLuise would have, but it could be anybody. And I don't want to give credit where it's not them. The title of this is hilarious, of the comic book. So that's my question, but there's two parts. So for the prize tonight, I'm going to put this out there early. I want to know the name of the comic book that the kids are loving and how much it costs. You have to have both together in order for that. So Arlene, you read them. Okay. I had a Jughead kind of Archie one from years ago. I have it preserved somewhere, just one or two. I wasn't a big comic book fan, but I've had that preserved somewhere and didn't realize it was worth money after I unpacked it. It's like mint condition in its little clear baggy thing. Mm. All right, so there's your contest question. What is the name of the your graphic novel reader, Brianna? Very nice. Graphic novel and graphic novel, the name of the comic book, and also how much it costs. And that's the first person who has it correct. I will look you up. All right. So I have to tell you the thing that was number one for me, because I felt like, not that this was a poorly written, poorly acted, poorly directed, as all of you were saying, episode. I thought it was like meh. But the thing that was my favorite, that I just loved, and I knew I'd love it from the commercial, and I loved it more when I watched it and I had to rewind it, was this. Let me add it. Okay. Of course, I took this right off my TV. So Rosemary is down below, down in front of the Queen of Hearts, and next to her is Elizabeth, and Elizabeth's, look, and he's all excited, Ned, and he unravels the big sign, and it's about the radio show, and she's like, who did? And he's smiling real big, and then he sees her say, who did this? And he starts to back away, and the music's like, wah, wah, and he stands over to the side, like, slowly. He doesn't want her to connect him with it, come after him. It was fantastic. It's my favorite thing of the entire episode. Thank you. Thank you. I thought that was great. I loved it. So let's talk about the radio show. I thought that was cool. And I think they'll probably build more into the storyline. And it was funny how they were trying to come up with a story, because I thought that the episode was trying to come up with material. And I thought it was like a filler. Somehow it was kind of filling us into other storylines. So like the first episode always tends to kind of touch on all the storylines that we're going to have. And I feel like there was so much jam-packed into that, they kind of carried it over into episode 2. That was why I thought it felt kind of like on the slow side. Now, Rosemary had to find like filler, and I love how she was interviewing everyone and they all loved it, and then they go get Florence, and then Florence comes in and gives her 2 cents, which she kind of secretly likes the comic book. I think it's very fitting to weave this in. It's humor. It gives the kiddos a story. It's branched off to other storylines where it's led the kids to want to get jobs. Now they're working with Henry. It had a chance to show you the initiative of Emily and her business mind. And it gave Joseph another job. How many jobs does he have to have? The one thing that I loved was the questioning of the first fruits, and how from the Bible, like Henry questions or talks more Joseph about it, about, letting people have it for free. And then Joseph kind of fills him in and talks about Deuteronomy. And here's the thing. We used to have, when I went back and I looked in the storylines, that first season was so much more faith-filled, and it kind of like got away from it, where it's more like it's about being a good person. It's not necessarily like people say, oh, it's good Christian values. No, it's not. They don't forgive like you're supposed to forgive. That's happening a lot in the writing with what's going on with Lucas and with Lee and Rosemary. But it is about coming together. It's weaved in a little bit, and they sneak it in more with Pastor. So I was wondering, let's see. I loved what he said to the kids. He only accepts things that jingle and fold. Yes, the money, right? When they were trying to work it out. Yes. Okay. Yes. The storylines were comic books and a new nut business. Yes, that really was it. And they were kind of clinked together. Okay, let's see. I want to see if I can get it. Let's see. I see Captain Billy something and 5 cents. Oh, nope, that's not the answer. Does Henry still work with Lucas, or is he becoming a full-time farmer? Did I miss something? Well, do you remember when Joseph said he kind of left you behind? How do you feel? And he's like, yeah. So he shouldn't have left him behind, because he begged last season, basically begged Henry to join him, and Henry did. And then now Lee is with him to go with this deal because it was kind of Lee and Rosemary's idea to have this national park, remember? So now that he takes him with him and now Lee leaves him. So I don't know. I think Lucas has to reevaluate who he's associating with. And I hope that we see that because in real life, and I know it's a show, this is just too over the top, too much, but we'll get into there. So Joseph and Henry are going into the hazelnut business. Seriously, yes, 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 yes. And you do love Farmer Henry, not going to lie. So do I. And I like it because he's in touch with the people. Rural. There's the rural that will help with the reelection of Lucas, which they're overplaying because he's got some time. And I know that politicians are always worried about their numbers. But, I mean, the man's been there a year at the most. He's still got 3 more to go. Yeah. Oh, gosh, curry. That would be fabulous. Maybe Ned could invent Nutella. As an Italian, I'd be a little offended by that because Nutella is, not chestnuts, though. Yes, he needs to take Edwin's place. Edwin isn't really working for him at all. And Henry will be coming, I'm sure, to help him. You thought about the Nutella thing too? Okay. All right. Wait, Miriam, your answer is hilarious. Captain Billy's whiz bang. 10 cents. No one's got it right yet that I saw. Oh, gosh. Okay, I'm going to say this, and no one's gotten it right, and I hope I didn't miss it because I'm just trying to real quickly go back. Okay, wait. Captain Billy and the Ant Alien cents. This is like funny to me. Okay, listen, I will tell you it's Captain Billy, but there is an and, okay? And it's not 10 cents. Good Lord. Oh my God. Curry, that's hilarious. Okay, it was so funny. I'm still waiting for the right answer with that. All righty. So, the family dinner. Let's talk about the family dinner. It was cute. I love when you get all the family together, but Rosemary crashing open that door and walking in was over the top and overacted to me. And that's just how she was probably directed to do it. It was just too much. It was almost like, oh. And all of them sandwiched in the house and having like a family dinner. It was potluck. I think it was cute. I felt like there was really no romance at all between Elizabeth and Nathan. And I think that is going to be on purpose because they're going to come up to a day where they're like, we need to go on a real date. It's kind of getting to be boring. I know people who are Nathan and Elizabeth fans. That is great. And there was just like, to me, there isn't any chemistry between the two of them. And there really was like, but it was fun to see them all together. And I like that they invited Oliver. And I love the storyline of Oliver and Nathan. I'll get into that. But here's something that's cringy for me. And I'm sorry, tell me if it's cringy for you, okay? That scene where they're running around in the backyard, even before Bill goes in to play with them and fool around and be chased. I get that. And there's a little Jack and he would want to be chased and whatnot. But I don't like it when I saw Allie chasing with Oliver. They're too mature for that. It looked, I don't know, fake and silly. And I remember when they did that once when they were taking a tour through the woods and the governor was there with all the bells and whistles and the cameras and everything. And we saw the two lovebirds running around chasing each other. And that would be the newlyweds, May and Mike. I didn't like it then. It kind of was cringy to me. So I don't like seeing that. I wish they would not do it anymore. Don't put it in there. Nobody runs around and chases each other, even back in the day then when you were above 3 or 4 or 5 years old. Okay, I know there's a game of freeze tag, but that's just silly because it just gave me the cringies. All right. Okay, I just saw something. Brianna, Captain Billy and Nancy the Genius Dog cost about 5 cents a book. Ding, 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 ding. Now, Brianna, how this works is you must email me. Either use my email address, which I always put in here, or you can contact me on Facebook. All right. Oh, wait. Is Bryce here? I'm seeing them adding each other. Okay. Lillian's saying at Bryce. The quiz was what was the name of the comic book and how much did it cost? Okay. He was asking. Are they trying to turn this into a sitcom? There are some things that are like a sitcom, and I like it. I like Ned's reaction. There's places for it. I like when there's serious and emotional, and then a little laughing, and then serious and emotional. But there was just, I don't know, it was missed the mark for me with some of the stuff that they were doing. It was very much like, I love Rosemary, but boy, was she annoying. You know what I mean? Too much, the crashing of the door. And that's okay, Bryce. I don't know. They're all good. Kevin and Oliver. Let's get to that in a minute. But they're all good. Like Pascal, because I was going to say something about Kevin, but I'm hold that thought. Pascal is just too over the top. And not Pascal. I love her. She's a good actress. Their part is too over the top. Lee is too over the top with how he's mean, and he's like, with the faces are killing me. And like, he's not going to shake Edwin's hand. When does Lee behave that way? Like, he's always a gentleman. He can be a little, snippy, but still, that's just not Lee. It's just not Rosemary. She's too much. It's just too much, and it's not flowing for me. I think that's really what, yeah, she was too much for you for this episode. Over the top Rosemary, you agree. Okay. All right. So we've got the newlyweds that are back, and I'm getting worried here. I love this couple. This was a couple that had tender moments, that had really sweet things to say to each other. They really changed May. She is not, I'm going to take him down for a minute. She's really not herself as when she first came in. She was more plain spoken, as she even said that about herself. She's different. We didn't, this time it's day 2. It's her first time that we get to see her. It's not day 2, it's episode 2. First time we get to see her, and she's in there crushing something. I don't know if she's making her mixtures. At least she's actually in the pharmacy, because we didn't really see her in the pharmacy before. No, if she's making one of her facial mixtures or creams, or if she was doing something for medicine. But we really don't get to see her that much as a pharmacist anymore. And her personality is totally different. I don't mind her with Mike. I like them together, but the whole yelling and the back and the forth and mad at each other, all about, you left the window and you left the window and you left the window. No, you left the window and you left it. I'm like, oh my God. And then they went and they did that parallel, which I like, where she's saying something, she being May with Faith, and Faith being the voice of reason, and then moving over to the same words going over with Mike and him and Bill, and it going back and forth. And then they just decide to make up. These 2 actors are exceptional actors. He is great at comedy, Ben. And it was just too much. And you know what it reminded me of? Oh my God, Avis, you just did it. It reminded me of Jesse and Clara. And that did not go well, because it was like they couldn't think of another storyline for them. And then they just went bye-bye. And they'd be mad at each other and stomping around, and mad at each other and stomping around. He couldn't do anything right. She was always mad. And I thought, this is the same thing again. Don't do this to this couple that just got together. Please don't do this. Give them storylines that are rich. And I love how they made up. They had a fun little fancy date out in their little place where he proposed. That was all sweet, but it was just too much of a repeat for me. So that was disappointing. Yes, too many repeats. And then you're all talking to each other. Okay, let's talk about Edie and meeting Edie Martell. So Edie comes in, and like I said, I love that she not only is a lawyer, she's also beautiful little thing. She's also, I shouldn't even say little thing, that's kind of demeaning. She's petite. Like, here's what I mean by that. She's a lawyer, and she is a rancher. For such big, bold jobs, she's a petite, beautifully put together, very feminine type of character. You know what I mean? She didn't come rustling in and with a hat on or whatever, very professional. I really like her. I love her little glasses. By the way, the actress is Miranda McDougall, and she is my guest next Monday. So she will be on when we recap. When I recap, first she'll be on and we'll chat a little bit. We'll get to talk to her about episodes 2 and 3. I don't do spoilers, so we'll see what she has to say. We'll learn about her and her background, and then when she leaves, I'll finish recapping the episode. I also had on Oliver. Garrett is the character name, but the young man who plays him is Jacob Shumate. What a doll. He is, this is his first big role, and he shared some fun things, some fun behind the scenes stuff with us, and told us some things about him. And I had to do that when it was convenient for him, which was a 5 o'clock my time, but that's out there. If anybody wants to go see it, you can go back and catch it. So, Edie, I like the idea of what she said and the lines that they gave her. See, this is what I mean. They did some really cool stuff, like they did with. I love what they did with the girls and how they're portraying the young girls, and the whole thing with the tapping on the playing the music and tapping on the hazelnuts and working together. That was all cute, and it was good. But I loved when Edie came in and she is talking and showing the map to Lucas, and they're standing there looking at each other, and stupid Edwin he says, about it's a political. I just saw myself make this face that was not becoming. It's a political thing. And she looks over at him and she says, yeah, well, I'm paraphrasing, I don't know about political. It's about politics. It's about people. And when she said that, Lucas stopped and looked at her. Chris is very good with the expressions on his face. So was she. And he stopped and he looked at her and she said, it's like economics. It's about people. You've got a mercantile there. You've got restaurants. And he's like, yeah, he should know he had one. If the cattle costs go up, people are going to suffer money and whatnot. It's not so much about politics. And it kind of sparked his interest. Yes, it's an economy, stupid. Very good. Now, he got a little look when she said it, like his kind of a person. So let's talk about Lee's reaction to that. He wasn't there for that conversation. He chose, they gave, basically Edwin gave him the runaround. And when Lucas tried to explain it to him, he didn't even give him a chance to talk about, don't go back on your word. And Lucas even said earlier, I won't change the name of it. I gave them my word. It's your word. And I'm like, okay, you know what? You didn't even give him a chance to explain. And I know this is how it was written, but I thought that was weird because that's not Lee. Lee of last season was the mayor who took a seat at a table and the people of the town came in to talk to him about their issues. However big or small they were, he didn't demean any of them. He allowed them in and talked to them. Where is that Lee? All that Lee is caring about now is going to Edwin and picking on Lucas every 2 minutes and worried about his national park, which was really his idea. And now it's named after his daughter. What that makes them look shallow. And if anything, Rosemary is not like that. When push comes to shove, she does the right thing. And so does Lee. And they're just out for themselves. That's how it looks. It's so strange. It's just so strange. I think Lee needs a timeout. He was acting like a child. He was. They created and made him immature. However, they chose to write it, direct it, whatever it was too much. I'm sending out a search party out to find the real Lee. Me too. Okay. I am too. So it was just too much. So now the thing that I was thinking about before is Lee's so down on Lucas. Last episode, Rosemary's like, oh, let bygones be bygones. But then they really weren't, because then she talks about it. After all, he's going to show his real self. And what is his real self? So I want to know the reasoning. Everyone that's here. Back to the lawyer girl. Don't you think her costuming made her a mini Lucas? That's cute, Carol. Maybe. She's a sharp dresser. I think that would attract him. He's a sharp dresser. he would be attracted to her. She's beautiful glasses. I don't know. She's adorable. Somehow, some way, I think she finds her way back to Hope Valley because they're on a train together. That's when you see Lucas with his hat on. You see that banquette and blue thing behind him. And I think he's coming back and you'll see him and she's on that train too. So I think she's coming to Hope Valley, maybe to finally say, let's talk to Lee so he can hear what we have to say. Let's talk to the people. But anyway, I wanted to talk about how Rosemary and Lee are behaving, or how they're being written to behave, because they are not real people. They're being written to be shallow, and that is not them. I mean, they're the people that take, like Rosemary says, find money. You can find the money for the workers. You can bankroll it. I'm using my words. And they've done that. And someone was saying, well, they need to have like a villain, a bad guy. Not everybody can be good. And they used to have guests that would come in and out of the show that were bad guys or girls, or they would have someone like Rosemary when she came and then she had to grow and mature and they redeemed her. Or Henry, it took a very long arc for Henry to be redeemed and it was a beautiful story. And now that he's there, so now they're saying they're going to use Lucas. Okay, but here's the thing. Since the day we met him, in season 6 to this now, and I'm not trying to make this Lucas Bouchard show, I'm looking at the writing. I need anybody that's here to tell me what it was that he did that was ever bad, that he needed to be forgiven of something. So I've never seen him do anything bad. Now, last season, they gave him a back history that we knew nothing about. Sometimes people say they hinted. I didn't really think that they hinted, but let's say that they did. We still didn't see him do anything to the town. Everyone's got a backstory. So let's say he did bad stuff before he came to Hope Valley. They don't need to forgive him for that. That was in the past. I know Lillian says nothing. When they had the oil refinery and they didn't have money to help, he paid them out of his pocket. He lent money to Nathan. He I could go on forever and ever. He gave up everything. He didn't want it to become governor to help out because they said he had the charisma to do it. He didn't really want to, if you think about it, kind of initiated of their breakup because she didn't want to live there and it made her think otherwise. But apparently Elizabeth always was in love with Nathan. We just didn't know it. But there was nothing. Even I remember when he was helping the kiddos compromise when getting to use the springs, and she was saying something to him about it, she being Elizabeth. He goes, I like helping people. There's just, the town always came first. Abigail saying, you're one of us, we look out for you. It just makes no sense, okay? Rosemary didn't want any more negative copies of the paper out when Lee was bad-mouthing Hickam. Yeah, right? I know. So this is what I mean. Like, she even said that. She even stepped in. Now here they act like there's something he needs to be forgiven of. So yes, the library. Yep, Cindy. The Christmas festival, movie nights. Yes, even taking over and helping Elizabeth with the kids or supplying them with some things like the Easter party he had for all the kids. So getting back to this, some people are saying because he brought bad people to the town and jeopardized the life of Elizabeth in the first episode. That is not his fault. He wasn't a criminal. He couldn't help who was coming after him. I'm going to talk more about this. And then, okay, because of what's her name? Jeanette came. So that is still not his fault. He actually tried to drive her out of town, right? Okay, because let me tell you why that makes no sense. Do you remember Pastor Frank? And Pastor Frank was part of a gang. And Pastor Frank was living in the town. And the criminals that came to get him and held him up. And there was a gun and a gun point and a shootout and all of that. Did people ostracize him and say, I have to forgive you and all of that? And Jesse came to town and he brought badness with him. Were they constantly saying he was bad and he had to become good? I mean, I know he felt that way about himself with Clara, but this is what I mean. So it makes no sense. If you want it to be making sense, write it differently. That's my spiel. Yes, he befriended Nathan's father. I get that. I know he gave all that money. I know it's not that it's the Lucas Bouchard show, but it just doesn't make sense. And in the writing, it's hurting other characters. It's hurting Rosemary and Lee now, and they're acting weird to me, and I don't like it. Maybe there'll be a change somehow. Maybe Lee will be like, you know what, I should have listened to you. I don't even know. I don't know where that's going to go. I'm along for the ride. I'm just a little annoyed by certain things, not all things. Now, let's get to Oliver and Kevin before we wrap this up, because I've been yammering yang for 40 minutes now. I love that we're getting a little bit at a time, because that's what Jacob said we would. We'll get a little bit more of his backstory, and there is a sadness to his story, and we'll learn more and more about it. But I love that he needed a win, and I love how Nathan's character is now. So Nathan was very sarcastic in the past, right? Especially in season 9, extremely sarcastic. And I didn't find his sarcasm always funny. But like I said before, and I know I'm repeating myself, but I saw more of it. He has a little bit of a sarcasm now, and it's softer and it's funny to me. I like it. So I like his character, and I like his interaction with Oliver. And Oliver is like a whiz, and they found how he's really good at looking at details. He said, I'm a slow reader, but he's very eager to organize stuff. And I think this is where a big mystery is coming. We get to see it next week. It's something about this double eagle coin or something. I don't know. This looks good. It looks like there's some fun stuff coming. Maybe these two episodes kind of had to drive us towards it. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it. Donna says, I think enough on Lucas. He should straight up grow some or get out of Dodge. Donna, I think enough on Lucas. Okay, for me, he should straighten up, grow some, or get out of Dodge. So, Donna, we just had this thing. I don't know what the enough on Lucas part is. I don't know if you're talking to me. Remember, we said that this is a safe place and we don't attack each other. It's a big storyline that's rolling. The way they're writing it is rolling into other characters and affecting their storyline, like Lucas and Rosemary, over the top, acting weird, not like their usual selves. Even Henry, he's got like no storyline now. He's not attached with Lucas, but maybe he will be. He should straighten up and grow some. Lucas has to straighten up and grow some. So I'm glad that you're saying that, but I'm not quite sure what it is that Lucas needs to do, how they need to write him by growing up. You think Lucas needs to grow up. So I'm wondering how the writers made him childish, or what he needs to do to change. I'm not sure. I'm interested in what you think about that, like how that needs to change. Let's see. Nathan got Oliver to do all his paperwork. I know he did. And I loved how he opened the drawer and he's like, you're really good at it. And so he helped him out a lot. But it was a good thing. I don't think it was like abusive. Like, what you want him to do, mop the floors? I didn't need to mop the floors anymore. He did something that was quite productive. So I feel like they're going to learn. Like, I think this helps with the thing that's like foreshadowing. Oh, did you think the mentioning of the wolf or the wolves was a foreshadowing of something that might come? How they kept talking about that when the kids were out on the trail. And Cindy says, Nathan lucked out that Oliver did all of this work for him. Okay, Kim, looking forward to Oliver and Allie relationship this season. So am I. I thought that was cute, but then I thought something was a little weird. Not bad weird, just thinking about timeline. And timeline is kind of fluid in Hope Valley. I remember when she was with Robert. Now he's even older. He's graduated. Do you think Robert is older than Oliver? I don't know. I was like, oh, I didn't realize she was with such an older boy. You know what I mean? Not that there's anything bad about it. I'm just thinking that would be interesting. But I'm cute. I think it's cute. And I'm looking forward to they got a little spark going on. And we know what's happening because the actor has said it was. And I even think in one of their interviews, Chris called it puppy love. Let's see, Lillian. I think she's saying Lucas should grow a pair. Oh. Okay, I missed that. So where is she? Donna. I think enough on Lucas. He should straighten up, grow some. He's out and get out of Dodge. Okay. He should grow a pair, like stick up for himself. Maybe. Okay. She seemed to be kind of invested in Wyatt too. Interested in Wyatt. Who's Wyatt? She seemed to be interested in Wyatt. It was nice to see Robert. It was. Who was interested in Wyatt? I'm interested to see what you put there. Yes. Oliver seems to have a lack of self-confidence in some things, but not with talking to Allie. I know. I like that. I love that little chemistry. Brianna says, we're probably going to get a love triangle between Oliver and Wyatt, which would be interesting if true. Who's Wyatt? Why are we mentioning Wyatt? Tell me about that, because I feel like I missed something. Funniest line when little Jack referred to Oliver as the little Mountie. I forgot about that. That was so cute. Thank you, Cindy, for reminding me of that. That was another one that I loved. Wyatt, the new character coming next episode. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay. I thought he was already introduced. You're correct. And it's funny because I'll tell you what. I'm not going to tell you. Go watch it. In my interview with Jacob, who is Oliver, he talks about that. He talks about Wyatt and he talks about himself. Go check it. I'm not going to tell you. Yes, Wyatt is coming. I thought you meant he was already there. And I'm like, did I miss something? I started getting nervous. Did I blank out somewhere? Yes, he is coming. And I think that'll be fun. Lillian, I don't know you, but I like the way you think. Oh, that's cute. Lillian is the best. If you want to get to know her, you can go watch some other episodes. She's been my guest before. I'm kind of hoping at some point Lucas is going to do the radio hour and just tell everyone off and all he did for Hope Valley. I don't think they're writing it like that, Avis. I don't think they are. We haven't seen Earl Wyatt yet. Okay. Yes. Bryce, I know that because in my head, I was like, that's the kid from years ago with the uncle with the railroad. I get all that, but I'm thinking in my head, he already, since they said that, she's going to have a spark with both, that it already happened. And I was making myself a little nervous. Yes. Half of When Calls the Heart were shady when they came. I think that is why it was changed to Hope Valley. Yes, I do know Wyatt as the guy's nephew, but again, I think I answered that myself. Okay, are you ready? We got one more thing to do before we go. How many times did they have to hide the baby bump for Andrea? How many times? And it was funny how they did it. They did it with like a pocketbook and how she leaned over. They did it with furniture. They did it with a costumes. They did it all different ways, but I'm curious to know. Let's see who I see has it first. The first person I see has it is Curry. You were correct, Curry. It was 3. And that one scene was long, but it was with her costume. Yes, Curry, you won it this time. All right, so we're trying to see who gets the most letters. Wouldn't it be interesting if everybody only gets one? I got to put your name down here. Carrie for episode 2 for the baby bump. All right. And if those of you don't know what that is, Andrea Brooks, it spells out. And at the end, whoever has everybody gets a letter to spell out baby bump, and whoever has most of it gets a prize. Read between the lines. No, he needs to be a man. Thank you, Donna. So Donna is saying that Lucas needs to be a man. Okay. Instead of just a puppy dog who's taking it. Okay. I'm agreeing with it. You think they'll do it though? You think they'll write it that way? I don't know. That would be great though if they would. We'd love it. I'd love it. All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. If you're a way home person, tune in tomorrow because we're going to be talking about episode 2, which is very exciting. And the way home got to trend too the other night. A lot of trending on Hallmark lately. You're out there on your typing, doing all your cool stuff out on X. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you, I hope, next Monday, and you'll get to meet Miranda, who is Edie, and we'll talk about episode 3. All right. Good night. Good night, everyone. Oh, boy. He is a man. He's just been the victim of bad writing. You are correct. They are writing him different. You are so correct. Yes. Good night. Good night, Kim. Good night, Jill. Good night, Carol. All right. I'm just going to say good night, everyone.